Whenever people ask me about moving to Southeast Asia in my coaching calls, it usually comes down to two different countries, Thailand and Vietnam. They both have amazing food, friendly people, and they are substantially cheaper than any Western country. But if you're actually thinking about moving to one of these places, the question is, which one is actually better? Today, I'll break down Thailand and Vietnam side by side, not just by cost, but on lifestyle, visas, healthcare, transportation, community, and even just the overall feel of the place. And by the end, you will know which one is the home for you. Let's start where most people do, the money. Now, Thailand is still cheap compared to the rest of the world, but Vietnam will stretch your budget even further. Your rent, your meals, even your daily coffee run, it will just be cheaper in Vietnam. A simple noodle dish or a rice meal will basically cost you nothing. But in Thailand, it's going to cost a little more. Not even expensive, but it is noticeably different when you live here month after month. That said, Thailand does have a bit more polish. Grocery stores tend to be more stocked with imported goods. Housing tends to be more modern, and daily life in general can kind of just feel smoother. So yes, sometimes in Thailand, that extra cost just buys you convenience. In Vietnam, you're saving money, but things could also be a little more rough around the edges. If you want an example, I once rented an apartment with a sea view in Da Nang, and it's cheaper than what most people pay for a normal one-bedroom apartment in Chiang Mai. That's the trade-off here. Next is food. Honestly, you can't go wrong either way. It's more of a personal preference. Thailand's food is famous worldwide. You have mango sticky rice. You have endless types of stir fry. You can get street skewers at any time of the night. It's flavorful, it's varied, and it's everywhere. In Vietnam, the food feels lighter, fresher, and healthier. Bowls of pho, rice paper rolls, grilled pork with herbs. It's the kind of food that doesn't make you feel heavy afterward. And when it comes to international food, pizza, sushi, steak, Thailand is just further ahead. Vietnam has those options, but you might feel a difference in quality and quantity. One thing worth mentioning in Vietnam though, the coffee culture is next level. You can sit in these tiny cafes for hours sipping your iced coffee with condensed milk, watching scooters zip by. Thailand has coffee too, but it's not as central to daily life as it is in Vietnam. That simple little detail can change your life in ways that you don't know until you've lived in both places. Next is visas. Here's where people really tend to stress. Thailand has continued to change their laws year after year. If you're not retired or willing to put up the money for an elite visa, you may be juggling education or business options. This is possible, but it takes some planning. And it's worth mentioning that they did recently put out a DTV visa that seems to be changing some things. Vietnam's visa, on the other hand, isn't perfect, but it tends to be easier in the short term. The first time I went there, they only had a 30-day visa. And now they've extended that e-visa up to 90 days. And renewals, they tend to be pretty straightforward. You're not necessarily locked into so many hoops when you're first starting out. So if you want that smooth entry into the region, Vietnam might be the plan. But if you're planning to settle for years on end, especially at retirement age, Thailand probably has a few more options, even if they're a little more expensive. After this is the lifestyle and the feel. This is where the countries tend to split people. Thailand is established. There's no arguing that. It's been on the expat radar for decades. Bangkok, Chiang Mai, Pattaya, Phuket, these cities are basically built around foreign communities, co-working spaces, international restaurants, even the hospitals cater to English speakers in a lot of cases. If you want that comfort, it might make sense to go to Thailand. Vietnam, on the other hand, it feels like it's still on the rise. Ho Chi Minh is buzzing with that huge city energy. Hanoi, on the other hand, feels traditional but still fast-paced. Da Nang mixes beaches with a huge expat scene these days. It's a little rougher, it's a little louder, but it feels exciting in a way that Thailand just no longer does. So if you want that smooth, practical comfort, Thailand might win on this one. If you want that raw energy and that feeling of something's happening here, Vietnam definitely wins. The perfect example can be shown through a night out. Let's say you're in Bangkok. It just feels polished. There's rooftop bars, live music venues, and everything just runs smoothly. A night out in Ho Chi Minh, by contrast, might start out with a bowl of street noodles on a small stool. It'll continue with beers on a crowded sidewalk and end with some hole-in-the-wall music venue that you never even planned on visiting. Both are fun, but they create completely different rhythms to your life. Next is language and just your overall daily basis. Thailand is easier on foreigners on a day-to-day basis. More people speak English, especially if you're in one of the cities I named earlier. You can truly live in Thailand for years without speaking even one word of Thai, but if you do, your life will be substantially easier. Vietnam, on the other hand, pushes you a little harder. English is spoken in the bigger cities, but leave those cities and good luck. But some people like myself actually prefer this. You're pushed into learning the language. You interact more directly with many locals. And overall, I think that can make life feel a bit richer. When it comes to bureaucracy, both countries can be frustrating. Thailand, it has a lot of official rules and paperwork. Vietnam can feel more flexible, but at times it's just plain frustrating. Community and culture. Thailand's expat communities are of course more established and more concrete. You'll easily find meetups, Facebook groups, co-working hubs, and ready-made circles of friends if you go looking. This does make it easier to settle in at first. Vietnam's expat communities are definitely smaller, but they are growing quick in cities like Da Nang and Ho Chi Minh City. It can definitely feel a little more close-knit in Vietnam. For culture, Thailand leans into the Buddhist roots. Relaxed, slow-paced, and non-confrontational. A phrase you'll hear all the time is something like Mai Pen Rai. This basically means don't worry about it. Vietnam is definitely different. It's fast-paced, direct, and entrepreneurial. People are working, they're hustling, they're building things. Depending on your personality, one of these two options could feel a little more like home. Then there's healthcare and safety, which is something most people overlook until they actually need it. Thailand's healthcare is world-class for the region. Bangkok has private hospitals that rival anything in the West, with English-speaking doctors and modern facilities. This is one reason retirees love Thailand, because they know they can get the care they need quickly. Vietnam's healthcare is definitely improving, but it's not quite on the same level. Major cities have big private hospitals, but in general, Thailand is still one of the best medical hubs in Southeast Asia for a reason. Many expats in Vietnam or Cambodia will fly to Bangkok for more serious treatments. When it comes to safety, both countries are pretty safe when you compare it to their Western counterparts. Petty theft exists, but violent crime is also pretty rare. Vietnam definitely might have a reputation for more scams and pickpocketing, while Thailand will definitely have more road accidents. The way I see it, it's less about the danger and more about staying alert. Something a lot of people don't talk about is the nature and travel from these two places. This is where both countries shine, but in completely different ways. Thailand is the land of islands. Koh Samui, Koh Lanta, truly some of the most beautiful beaches in the entire world. And they're perfect for weekend trips from Bangkok or Chiang Mai. Vietnam, on the other hand, is stretched long and thin and dramatically changes. You've got limestone cliffs up in Ha Long Bay. You've got the highlands of Dalat, the rice terraces of Sapa, and there's also beaches along the coast. Travel can take longer, but the landscapes are definitely stunning. If you want conveniences and iconic beaches, Thailand has the edge. If you want variety and adventure, Vietnam delivers. Now here's something you don't realize until you've really lived in both. Thailand is comfortable. Life is easy, predictable, and smooth. But some people also start to say it feels too easy, almost like they've stopped growing. Vietnam, on the other hand, can feel challenging. You'll face language barriers, cultural differences, and a pace of life that doesn't slow down for anything. But many people say this keeps life interesting and they never feel like they're stagnating. So which country is actually better? If you want comfort, established communities, and a smoother landing, Thailand probably makes sense for you. If you want lower cost, more of a challenge, and somewhere that still feels like it's in motion, Vietnam is the pick. The truth is, neither one is better just across the board. They're just different. And if you really want to know which one fits for you, I would recommend staying a month or two in each one. Once you experience them side by side, you'll instantly know where you belong. I dive even deeper into more comparisons like this in my free newsletter, where I break down costs and share personal stories that don't always make it into these videos. You'll find that link below if you want to check it out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.